It is my absolute pleasure and honor today to get to talk to author Dr. Mike Duffy. He wrote the newly released book, The Tragedies and Triumphs in an Alcoholic's Family. And tell us about this incredible book.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to share some of what we've written here. And um, to just tell you that I used my father's miraculous story of recovery as a platform, really, to inspire with a real life example the hope that an alcoholic or addict could have. And that's contrary to the opinions of many. Many think that all hope is lost when somebody is in the throes of addiction. My dad's alcoholic journey took him from being an ordinary man, family man, a bricklayer, to the pinnacle of an alcoholic's life. He owned a tavern. And from there to the pit of Chicago's Skid Row, including a trip to the morgue with a tag on his toe. And had not a observer there in the morgue noticed his chest heave, this wouldn't even be a book. It would have been the end for him. But he became the pioneer in his recovery for non-medical detoxification, and out of a self-made program started a treatment center in Napa Valley, California, today known as Duffy's Napa Valley. I used my own experience of growing up and living in a family where alcoholism was wreaking havoc to share some really important lessons my brothers and I learned along the way. And these are lessons that really provide understanding and encouragement to those who may be in the midst of a life storm that can seem to be a living hell. And the book is really highly relevant, I would say, to those who are in the middle of an addiction or in the addiction themselves, but also to the family, friends, and the community around them who are observing it and becoming part of the collateral damage, oftentimes confused, tendency to avoid because of the stigmas and so on. In writing the book, I wanted to provide a unique layer of depth to the significance of the book. And so I invited a friend who's in long-term recovery. Her name is Elizabeth Edwards, a prominent recording artist, songwriter, member of the Grammy. And Elizabeth was influenced by my father's life and story. And now she is a prominent voice in the recovery community. And so I've at the end of several chapters included a segment called Liz's Thoughts. And so she shares from a 12-stepper's point of view, comments about the chapter topic and our lessons that we're trying to share.
Incredible. And so you've already touched on this a little bit, but I do want to know, and I think our audience would want to know, what really was the main inspiration for you actually putting this into this book?
Well, I have, you might say, 75 years of up close and personal experience with alcoholism and addiction. My father obviously was an alcoholic. Both my brothers became alcoholics and thankfully found long-term recovery in the middle of their lives. I've been involved in addiction recovery work at some level for more than 55 years. And I've studied the issue extensively, biblically, and including the histories of 12-step, the approach, and how it's oftentimes today acknowledged as the most successful form of treatment. I also have a sense that I have a tremendous stewardship responsibility to God for my life and what I've learned. And I want to use that as long as I have the ability, and then leave behind as much of a legacy of it for God's glory. I have been a minister of the Bible for 45 years and have spoken nationally and internationally in over 1,000 contexts. I understand, I think, the negative impact that addiction has on the body, the soul, and the spirit. And to this day, I'm called upon to counsel just about every week somebody who is being touched, maybe even for the first time, by the problem. And so I understand the need is growing, it's enormous, and I just wouldn't have a clear conscience to not use the experience and knowledge that I had. That's what inspired me.
What an incredible inspiration, and what a powerful message, to literally live your life bringing hope to people who feel hopeless when there is hope. And I think, you're right, that stigma that people have, but there's hope. And I think it's incredible that you followed, God's guidance in that, and devoted your life to that. And is there anything else that you would love to share with our audience about you, about your book, about the message, anything that, our audience would love to hear anything.
Yeah, there's a few things I think that would be relevant. I get asked this question a lot. Who is the book written for? And I would just like to reiterate, it's really written for everybody, because the addiction issue touches every family eventually. There is tremendous historic value in the book. It gives some of the context, really, to the evolution of one of the most successful addiction treatment programs centers in America. That's Duffy's Napa Valley. I mentioned earlier, my father founded the organization. Our family owned it and operated it for 48 years. And now Acadia Healthcare, one of the largest behavioral healthcare companies in the world, has the stewardship responsibility of that facility. And it's become the flagship, really, of the sector of addiction treatment and mental health. Also, it has had such a broad impact, treating people from every state and 44 countries is significant. My dad's approach to addiction treatment and then the operation of the facility itself led the state of California to use it for the establishment of the regulatory system in California. And then the federal government chose my father's approach to addiction treatment to develop the program for veterans. And that continues to operate at the big treatment, or the big veterans home in Yountville, California. In fact, several people that went through Duffy's for treatment have gone on in their lives and become the directors of that program. So that's important. And the book also, I thought it would be good to add a significant appendix that has some helpful tools in it. And one of the things that most is mostly asked of me is, how can I tell if my loved one is addicted? And so we've added a piece in the appendix to kind of help somebody work through that.
It's amazing. And so, and everyone has pain in their life, or has a member of their family that is affected. People hurt, and it's, people turn to things. And I think it's incredible that what a legacy your family has left, that, you have continued. You obviously are just an amazing person, and I'm truly impressed by that, and just your testimony, and just continuing to show hope to people who are feeling hopeless. And we want to let everyone know that this book can be purchased online anywhere books are sold, at Amazon, Barnes and Noble. And as Duffy said, this book has something for everyone. Every family usually has a member of the family that struggles with this. Also visit drmikeduffy.com, for more information as well. And so thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your heart. Thank you for your mission. Thank you for just the testimony and the calling of God that you answered. And so thank you so much for joining us today and sharing that with us.
Thank you so much.